Well, I think we've seen a significant change because there's been a migration of time and attention and investment towards digital. I think that's affected the publishing world, and it's also affected exhibitions. In a way, it's rebased the value of magazines because obviously there are few of them around. But I think it's also rebased the value of exhibitions because actually what you found with the migration to digital and social media is a real need for one-to-one contact and communication for that kind of serendipitous meeting that you get at exhibitions. And I think exhibitions and magazines still play a part. I think they just play a part as a multi-platform offer, which everyone's after now. So I think that for me would be the kind of the key kind of changes that have happened over the last 10 years. I'd say that in the last 5 years there's been a huge acceleration in the migration to digital, particularly social media, because of course it provides instant feedback, instant analysis of what's working, what isn't working. It provides opportunities to create a dialogue and also to collect data. And I think data is in a sense, is the kind of the key to the future of marketing communication. I think people often say, is digital the death of magazines? And I have been doing since 1997. And I think the honest answer to that, particularly in our market, in the architecture world, is that magazines will continue to play an important role. Architecture is a very visual subject. Magazines lend themselves to a very visual subject, but they will only survive as part of a multi-platform offer, one where you can provide clients with both print, digital and live events. And essentially there's a symbiotic relationship between those three things and they work as an integrated package. And for me personally, in my experience, what's worked most successfully is creating a single content strategy which unifies all of those different platforms, but they work together. And it's all about appropriateness. What's appropriate for a magazine is different to what's appropriate for a website or for social media or for an event like Ecobuild. It will change very quickly. I think it's fair to say, I mean, Architecture Today was launched in 1989. You could argue that it's one of the first crowd-funded businesses. It was launched with the backing of 70 architecture practices. In the last 5 years, we haven't adapted to the changes of creating a multi-platform offer fit for the needs of advertisers and readers. But my role and my background means that we can accelerate that. So we're currently investing in a multi-platform approach with a new website which will launch in April, which will provide an opportunity to tell stories, both originally created stories that obviously Architecture Today have been so successful at doing, admired and respected for doing, but also being able to tell stories on behalf of brands and other manufacturers really. Well, right now we provide sort of very simple, a very simple digital offer. So around email, social media, we've got 56,000 followers on Twitter. When you consider actually our digital presence has been quite modest over the last few years, that's a significant, if you like, validation of our engagement with our audience. So at the moment it's around email and it's around social media, and we have as I say, a very modest website. The investment is going into a new responsive website which will be available on desktop, mobile and iPad, along with investment in becoming a data-driven business, being able to provide insight and analysis to agencies and clients to understand the needs of architects, to understand our audience's mission, and then think about how we can deliver on that. I think we all want the same thing. I think we have to stop being kind of, if you like, buyer-seller, have a buyer-seller relationship. It has to become more collaborative. I can see an increase in strategic partnerships between agencies and media owners, and I can also see partnerships between clients and media owners. So in a sense, together we want to deliver content which is valuable, useful, entertaining, a mix of, if you like, need-to-know content and nice-to-know content for our audiences. And I think media owners have got to accept they can't do that on their own. And I think agencies and manufacturers have to accept that they can't do it on their own. Together, I think we can create a very powerful content proposition. It's about working in partnership, and I see that being much more about the future. The expectation is with digital that you can provide much more analysis about your return on investment. So whether that be straightforward digital banner advertising, or whether that be native advertising or guest content or email, because you're getting that instant response and you've got that analysis, you can provide real feedback. I guess for me, we will measure success for our clients for the level of engagement that we create. I think personally, the future of architecture today as a business is about immersing ourselves in our audience, understanding, as I said, the mission that they each, how they adapt to survive in a fast-changing world. What do we need to provide for them in the way of content? And I think it's about engagement and about a genuine dialogue. That's how I think we should measure real success for our clients. I think we've recently seen Procter & Gamble start to question the £1 billion they spend on digital because actually, as the classic saying goes, I know what part of my advertising works, but I don't know what doesn't work. Equally, I don't know how much my advertising is being seen by real people and how much of it's being seen by bots. So, you have to be very careful about measuring success through pure analytics. It's got to be about engagement and a real dialogue. And for me, that's what I would be aiming to deliver on behalf of our clients. What people expect from us is to really genuinely understand our audience, understand what their requirements are, what their objectives are, how you deliver on those objectives in terms of content, workflow tools, and all of those sorts of things. So for us, it's about delivering data-rich information to marketing people, so that they can start to reach the right people and segment things. And obviously, what we all want is about how we personalise things.